Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your weekly DMV Sports Update. And I am your host, CWall, checking in as I do each and every single Thursday to give you all the latest and greatest information on the hot topics in DMV sports. We're going to go back to this. Wait a minute. No, I was about to bring something back, but I'm going to wait until we complete our housekeeping items. Let's do our housekeeping items first, shall we? Let's just get right on into the housekeeping items because I can have you all here for a long time. So let's go through this. This is a live Bowie television recording. Everything we say and do here just may end up on your television screens each and every single day on Verizon Channel 11 and Comcast Xfinity Channel 77, 1:30 to 2:30, Mondays through Fridays. And on the weekends, it comes on during the noon hour. So lock in. Make sure you're following the YouTube channel as well for Bowie TV at BCMC TV Maryland. Make sure you're subscribed there as well. You all check in. If you're watching on Facebook, through Facebook Live, hit that love button. Share the show with your DMV sports loving family and friends. Say hello to Mama Waller and Pops Waller. If you're tuned in from YouTube, hello, YouTube subscribers and watchers. Drop a fire emoji so that I know you are tuned in, locked, and loaded. So, you all, it's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to discuss, but really only going to focus on two teams this week. Only going to focus on two teams, and that's the two teams that has the most going on. And because of those two teams and all they have going on, we're going to bring this back. It's been a while since I posted that, right? When is there a dull moment in DC sports? Never. That's one streak right there that there's nothing we can do about. It's going to continue to happen, as we saw this week. And even as the week has gone on, you all caught a reaction show with myself and colleague Darrell Owens. We did a show Tuesday at the NFL trade deadline. As soon as it was over, we did a show. And I hope you all watched that show, and I hope you all shared that show, and I hope you all learned some more information as a result of that show. But as the week goes on, there's still a lot to discuss. Just in the overall aftermath of the Commanders trade and what the vibe and overall just feeling is. And I see Cameron Mingo has joined. I see DJ Bland has joined. Cameron, if you missed that show, you can always catch it. Just go on down the line. You can go ahead and catch it. You need to go ahead and check that show out because it helps to bring light to this week and what happened earlier this week with the Commanders and the NFL trade deadline and the tradings of defensive ends. Yes, that is plural. Defensive ends, Montez Sweat and Chase Young. But before we get there, Wizards fans, I'm going to talk to you first. 4 games into the season, the Wizards have faced the Indiana Pacers, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Boston Celtics, the Atlanta Hawks. They've won one of those games. Still early. We know the NBA season is long. But I definitely want you to drop into the chat, Wizards fans, how you are feeling so far about what you're seeing from the team. And while you're sharing what you're seeing from the team, let me share with you what I'm seeing. And here's another thing that is so important. You all make sure you're bookmarking the SI.com Inside the Wizards page. We're dishing out, shout out to all the writers on that page. We're dishing out a lot of content, you all, every day, all throughout the week, on a variety of topics, all related to the Washington Wizards. So let's get into Wizards so far. only 4 games in. Here's one thing we do know about the Wizards. We know that they can score. They can absolutely score. Now, we know that Bilal Koulibaly, he's showing his defensive prowess, but the thing about it is these teams are kind of tough, aren't they? Early in the season, people they putting their chips in early. And we're talking Wizards now, but we will soon be switching over to the Commanders because we have a lot of content that we gathered this week that we want to share with you all. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies, and we know that the Memphis Grizzlies are already experiencing a variety of injuries. So the Wizards were able to come away with that one. But the Indiana Pacers, we know the Boston Celtics went all out. Shout out to Kristaps Porzingis, former Wizard, doing well in his new home with the Boston Celtics. Teammates were really happy to see him. All good. So, and then the Atlanta Hawks. And it's just going to be hard for the Wizards to find their footing, I believe, with such strong competitors in all of these teams. And yes, Kyle Kuzma has been consistent. So we're seeing a young team. We already knew this was a rebuild. Now it's been clear they're starting early. Even Kyle Kuzma, if you go and take a look through Kyle Kuzma's Instagram page, he shared it as well. In his captions, he's saying, give it some time. Give it some time. So that's what everyone is doing. But I can't help but to notice just how strong these teams are coming out overall to start the season out. These have been some high scoring games, offense galore. So any team is going to have to figure out some defense because everybody is just scoring lights out around here. That's with all the teams. And Boston is just so strong with their starting five. I mean, I'm not here to talk Boston Celtics, but it's, barring any injury, we already know what type of time that's going to be on for sure. If everybody stays healthy with that team. And the season is long. So we know that they're going to be a threat this week, even though the Wizards have not faced this team yet. We know that the Philadelphia 76ers have gone through some changes. Several of the Eastern Conference teams have gone through some changes. But Wizards are just going to have to be a wait and see. We knew that Kyle Kuzma was going to shine as the leader, right? So he's showing his consistency so far. Really like what I'm seeing out of Tyus Jones from a point guard perspective. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that happens. It's going to be interesting, and we just got to wait and see what happens. That's how I look at that. We just got to wait and see what happens. I would keep my expectations low. I really would. What I would be looking for, though, Wizards fans, is to see over time the player development. There's some things that have already happened. We've seen the team sign Denny Avdia, Corey Kispert, Patrick Baldwin Jr., and others. They're already saying this is the team and these are the team members that we want to invest in for an extended period of time. So I'm now interested in just seeing how they develop. We know that this is a team that has taken the effort to bring in coaches that have helped to develop some of the best players in this league with their former teams. So let's see how this goes. Let's see how even Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Poole, Denny Avdia. We know that Daniel Gafford is experiencing some injuries here and there. And he's been back and then he get injured. Let's just see Corey Kispert shooting lights out. Key factor in the Wizards win against the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm just here to see how this plays out. I'm just here to see how the players develop, because that was a key component of the guiding principles of the Wizards' new leadership. I want to see it. I want to see how they develop and see where that gets them. You know, slow and steady wins the race. So who knows? The Wizards can still be, they could. Of course, I've seen fans already saying, okay, they just bad. They're not going to win 25 games. They're not going to win it. Hey, I'm just here to really track the player development and, of course, say, here's some things that I really like, because we already knew it was going to be a rebuild year. They told us that. We know that. It wasn't like, hey, we hit it. We're not going to see what Boston is doing right now. We're not going to see moves being made necessarily to win right now. So patience is going to be key with this one. But do pay attention to how the players develop. I think that's going to be a key component of this season for sure. Now, Commanders fans, the rest of this is for you. The rest of this is for you. Week 9, Commanders going to Boston to face the new, while we were speaking about Boston a moment ago, going to face the New England Patriots. Because guess what? After all of these trades, like I posted on my page, guess what? Guess what? There's still games to play. There's still games to play. So let's just, now that everyone has gone through the initial shock, because I think that is something that everybody kind of experienced. I'm going to first share Ron Rivera's press conference from Wednesday. Remember, he told us on Monday, on Wednesday, I should have some answers to your personnel questions. And that's what I said on Wednesday. On Monday, I said, oh, by the time we all talk again on Thursday, there'll definitely be some things to discuss for certain. There's going to be some stuff to talk about. And we had the reaction show, and it was a lot to talk about. While we share the Ron Rivera press conference, drop in the chat what you think about what he has said in the press conference. Check it out.
I saw the flurry of activity. We traded Montez Sweat to Chicago and Chase Young to San Francisco. Trading Montez was something that really tough decision, but something that we felt was in the best interest of the football team. We really appreciate everything Montez had did for us. A heck of a football player who came in and did some nice things and really fit well. But again, this football is a very difficult business, and a lot of things change and things happen. And so we made the decision. Really do appreciate everything that Montez did for us, and want to wish him the best in Chicago as he finishes up, his opportunities there. As far as Chase is concerned, because the 49ers are on their bye week, slowing the process down a little bit. I can't comment on that until it's done. So I'll be happy to talk about Montez or New England.
So with Montez, for a while there, it sounded like you guys wanted to try and extend him. And does this signal a shift in maybe thinking of how you want to try building the roster going forward, or what changed in that?
Well, I think, again, when you look at some of the things that have happened for us this year and in terms of growth and development, and looking at what's happening at the quarterback position, we feel really good about who Sam is becoming for us. And again, looking at some of the things that are going on, and with the compensation we're getting for these players, it's going to give us an opportunity to continue to build for the future and do things a little differently. There may be a little bit of a shift in terms of the paradigm and how we're going to construct things, and been a lot of things that we have talked about. It's been an interesting 10 days probably as far as those things are concerned.
And obviously when you trade two guys like this, I know you can't talk about Chase, but when you make these kind of moves, from the outside, people are going to look at like, oh, you're 3-5. They're getting rid of two of their, better talents, are they starting to, like lack of a better phrase, punt on the season? And so how would you address, and how would you?
No, what I would say is, based on some of the things that we've seen and some of the growth and development we have, it's an opportunity to see what else we have. It's an opportunity to go out and, win football games using different guys. And we feel that we have an opportunity to go out and play well. We look forward to seeing what some of these young guys can do. We do think that, there's every opportunity in front of us. And, I've gone through this before. In 2014, I went through the same thing. We were late in the season, and we put a bunch of young guys that we felt had the opportunity or deserved the opportunity and put them out on the field and ended up in the playoffs. We won some games that gave us a chance. Do we have that opportunity? I think this is what this is. I think it's the same kind of an opportunity. We do feel strongly about the quarterback. It's something that, I talked about in the offseason. I've talked about through training camp. I've talked through the beginning of the season about the growth and development, and we're seeing it. And so we want to see what we have and see if we can win football games and put ourselves in that same position.
Ron, are those guys still here if you were able to beat Philly last week?
Well, again, that's something I'm not going to speculate about. What I'm going to talk about is where we are right now and again, what we're doing.
And then obviously you're consulting with Josh Harris during this process. What was that like to be working with ownership on this deal?
Well, for the most part, the process, probably started about 10 days ago. Our front office fielded a few calls about some of our players. And when we talked about it, one of the things we talked about was gathering information and what potentials were for some of our guys. We talked about that. We talked about what the plan should be in terms of decisions being made. And then we did reach out to Mr. Harris. We had a nice conversation about that. We talked about our plans, basically. We talked about what the potential could be and what the compensation could be. And he liked the ideas. He agreed with the ideas. And so we were all aligned, everything from coaching to personnel to Mr. Harris. And with that, we went out and, the front office, they did the deals that they did yesterday.
Ron, were you actually able to say your goodbyes to Tez and Chase yesterday? And what were those? Because there's a human element, right?
Right, there's a human element, and it's always difficult to say goodbye. And so when you get those opportunities, you do. And as far as I'm concerned, that stuff stays private.
The message to the team, because, again, that human element.
Right.
Teammates, brothers with Tez and Chase.
Absolutely.
What was your message to the guys today?
Well, the biggest message more than anything else was, guys, it's always difficult when you say goodbye to guys that help you and help grow and develop together. But it's also part of the business. It's the business side of it, and that's never easy. And for us, the biggest thing more than anything else is this is creating some opportunities for some other guys. It's creating a different opportunity for us as a football team, and we've got to take and make the best of it.
If you have just tuned in, you're watching from the Coaching from the Couch series, the weekly DMV Sports Update. Now, I'm your host, CWall. This is a live Bowie television recording, and we've already discussed for the weekly DMV Sports Hot Topic the first 4 games of the Wizard season, and now we are discussing the Washington Commanders as they head into Week 9 versus the New England Patriots. This week, they traded defensive ends, that is plural, Montez Sweat and Chase Young on Tuesday during the NFL trade deadline. And we're still discussing it because there's still things to talk about as a result. Now, here's what I would like to say. Typically, and Darrell has already jumped in here. My colleague Darrell, what did he say right here? He's already telling y'all to answer. Man, they looked sad in the locker room. The locker room is a sad situation right now. But let me just get back to typically when you see teams trading for players, they're doing that because they're either in win now mode or they believe that is a critical piece to their future. When you see, we know that the Bears have they 2-6. They did demolish the Washington Commanders. I like to say that's what happened, but that's one of their 2 wins. That's where Montez is going. And it's likely that they will try to extend him or put him into a long-term contract, at least try to. Chase Young has gone to the San Francisco 49ers. And I think everybody knows and understands what type of time the San Francisco 49ers are on, right? Typically, when there are trades for players, that is a team that understands the value of the player that they went and got. They're like, listen, we're not concerned with a pick. That's somebody we want right now. Trades are not demotions. Some people look at trades as though, No. For the team actually picking up the player, they have actually added something that they want now. When you typically get a team that is trying to they want to trade for picks, that is a team that is now planning for the future. The future. Not a team trying to get better today for week 9, week 10 through week 17. I asked a question on Monday night, which was, we've heard several times Coach Ron Rivera and others say they believe in the team that they have right now. Even after the game, the quarterback number 1 that you believe so much in, Sam Howell, said, we believe in the locker room we got right now. Who's to say we can't go out there and win 9 straight with the team we have right now? We can win with this team. We got to figure it out. All right. Okay. We've heard them say all we needed was 2 ball-hawking corners. Use that in the first and second round pick last year. Have also heard them say they were just a quarterback away. So now I'm assuming Sam Howell is that quarterback. Say all you needed was an offensive coordinator that could work with that young quarterback. You definitely got that in Eric Bieniemy. You do have that. I also remember a time or two when Coach Rivera said one of the things that he regretted in Carolina was splitting up that defensive line. Remember I told y'all, may he rest in peace, Rich Taylor. First thing he told me, I asked him, do you have any advice for me? I'm going to bring this up all the time. He told me, watch what they say. Watch what they do, excuse me. Don't listen to what they say. Let me get it straight. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. So I've listed out several statements we've heard the leadership say. Several statements. And then you went ahead and traded not 1, but 2 of your defensive ends. Value adds for those teams. Traded for picks, future 2024, right? Okay. But you said you still gonna play this game and you gonna win. You gonna try to win. Anybody seeing a disconnect here? Just making sure it's not me. Because I'm going down the list of statements. And I'm trying to align them all to what you said. And here's the reality. We all already know. Yeah, Ron can talk all that we. If you listen to Jack Del Rio, defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio's press conference earlier today, he made it very clear that he ain't had nothing to do with those trades. He said, that's not my role. I stay in my lane. I do my role. He had nothing to do with that. Okay? If it's one thing I do in my journalism career, is it's exactly what is right here that DJ Black. Oh, I keep receipts. I listen very well. I'm an active listener. I'm an active engager. I pay attention to everything and I treat them as statements. I'm not gonna make no assumption about what you said. And if I have a question about something you said, I will come up to you later when the camera's not rolling and I'm gonna ask you what you said. I will, to make sure we're clear. I had to call it a clarifying question. Oh, I have a clarifying question. Who are we gonna believe? Are we gonna believe that you're still trying to win football games in this season? Or are we going to believe that you are preparing for the future? You all tell me in the chat what you believe. Now, few people have been asking me my evaluation of the Pigs. I think that the team got what they were worth, what the players were worth. That's exactly what I believe. They're going to do well because they are heck of a football players. They are. I understand 31st defense numbers don't lie to losing football games, but let me tell you, those two right there, those two assets, those valuable assets, guess what? Those were the two players that teams sought out the most. Don't on team want anybody that's not good. That doesn't happen. So let's just all call it what it was, right? You said we got to make a move. The ownership said, hey, get us what we can get back for the most valuable assets that you have so we can get this show rolling.